Okay, so number 6 here, this is a pyramid. They want us to find the volume of the pyramid. Okay, so how are we going to find the volume of the pyramid? Well, let's go to the exam 3 notes. If you go to the exam 3 notes, there it is. So the volume of a pyramid, volume is 1/3 s squared h, or length times width times height. You can use either one. They're both saying the same thing. But, notice carefully, what is the height? From, how do we do the height of anything? From the tip top straight down to the ground, which means you have to hit the middle of the pyramid, don't you? That's not the same as if I come down the face of the pyramid. We call that the slant. That's not the same thing, is it? That would not be the real height. Why not? Because you didn't go straight down to the ground, right? Height has to be straight down to the ground, 90 degrees to the ground, which means it's going to hit the middle of the pyramid, isn't it? The height of a pyramid is straight down the middle. That's real height. That's what we mean in any formula for volume. When we talk about height, how do you measure your height? You don't run the tape measure diagonally down to the ground. That's not your height, is it? Height has to go straight down to the ground. So for a pyramid, that means straight down the middle, not down one of the faces. Okay, well, that's the issue we have here, isn't it? You see why I'm camping on that for a minute. Do you see this 10 that they're mentioning right here? It's this piece here. Let me make it clear. It's that piece. This is the 10 right there. Now you might say, well, that goes, Mr. Heron, it's hitting 90 degrees right there. No, that's not 90 degrees to the ground. That's 90 degrees to this other edge, which is not the same thing as being 90 degrees with the ground. It's not 90 degrees to the ground. You can tell, huh? It's 90 degrees to this edge. That's what that little box means. But it's not 90 degrees to the ground. Well, what do we do then? We gotta add in the height. So I've got to go to the very middle of the pyramid right here. Well, is that the middle? I don't know. Trying to do my best. About right there, maybe? A little better. And I'm going to go straight down from the top, straight down at 90 degrees. There it is. That's the height, which we don't know. We're going to have to find. You with me? That's the height. So the volume formula, let me write the volume. Volume of a pyramid is 1/3 length times width times height. But this h is height, top straight, height from the top straight down the middle to the base, right? That's what height always means, 90 degrees to the ground, straight down the middle. So they didn't give me the height, did they? I've got to find it. So our first step on this problem, first, find the height. That's our first step on this problem. Find the height of the pyramid. Well, that's tricky. How are we going to do that? They didn't give us the height. They gave us this 10, which really is not the height. That goes down the face. It's called the slant height. It's not the real height. It's the slant height is what we call it. It goes down the face. It doesn't go straight down the middle. It's not the real height of the pyramid. Excuse me. So how do we find the real height? What are we going to do? Well, we're going to need to add in this line right here. And you see how that's going to make a 90-degree angle right there. And we're going to have a right triangle. Excuse me. Well, how big is that line? Well, it goes out to the middle. If this is 12, from if the whole edge is 12, then this little piece here must be 6, right? Because it goes out to the middle of the pyramid. You see how that must be 6? It's half of the 12. Because why? How do you know? Because it goes to the very middle of the pyramid. So therefore, if I now grab this shape, let me grab it, this triangle, and move it right over here so I can see it clearly. And I go, okay, so we have a triangle. Like that. And we have that. Oops, not so good. All right. And we have that. You see what we've got there? So let's do the 3 sides. So this side is 10. This side is the height. And this side is 6. So that's pretty tricky, isn't it? You see that? So we have we got to find the height. So how are we going to, what are we going to do? You know, a squared plus b squared is c squared. When we have a right triangle, a squared plus b squared, right over here, a squared plus b squared is c squared. Which one is the c? The one across from the right angle. The longest side. That's the 10. So it's 6 squared plus h squared. Right? The a is the 6, the b is the height, the c is the 10. The c is always the one across from the right angle. So that's going to be 36 plus height squared is 100. Subtract 36. Height squared is 64. And then root it. The height is 8. So we found the height. The height is 8. The height is 8. So now we can finish the problem. Now we can go, all right, second, find the volume. How do we find the volume? Well, the volume formula is what it's been all along, right here. 1/3 length times width times height. 1/3 the length and width. This is the length, this is the width. It's, you know, they're both just 12. 12 times 12 times the height. We had to find that height, didn't we? So then hit the buttons on your calculator, you know, just go 1 divided by 3 times 12 times 12 times 8, and you'll get it. What's that? I'm getting 384. So there it is. 384 cubic yards. We're talking about cubes. How many cubes to fill up that volume, yard by yard by yard cubes. So that's pretty tricky. So the volume formula for a pyramid, 1/3 length with height. But remember, height is from the top straight down the middle to the base. They didn't give us the height, so we had to make a little right triangle to find the height right here. They gave us the 10, which is down the slant. We knew this bottom part was 6. Why? Because it's half of the 12, because it's out to the middle of the pyramid. So it's got to be half of 12. And then the height is what we're looking for. Did the a squared plus b squared is c squared whenever we have a right triangle. The a, the b, the c has to be the one across from the right angle. Found the height, plug it into the volume formula, got the volume. There we go.